First question is that what was the reactions from your family and friends when they found out that you left Islam and became a Christian?
When I decided to follow Jesus, there was no one around me from my very close family, but I remember in 2014, a friend of mine, Norway, Flakfjord, in city of Flakfjord, and he looked at me and he said, like, I wish you would die before you did this. And he really said to me that you are now on, you're dirty. And he said his voice was like, he wished like I was died before I decided to follow Jesus. And the rest of family and relatives, they had the very different reactions. And I got some texts from close relatives, and they said that it's shame on you. And I can go on and on, but the reaction was not good.
Yeah, and this is what I hear again and again when I speak to ex-Muslims, and in many cases, even worse reactions. But as you said, you were an immigrant and you were alone, so that might have been a blessing at that time, to be honest. But let's just move on to second question. Were you a very devout Muslim? Did you take your faith, Islamic faith, very seriously?
I just want to answer your questions a little bit in like just sharing any story way.
Yeah.
Like I share my faith with so many Muslims, and like sometimes they said, you know, Torai, I am Muslim. I said, so I was also a Muslim. And sometimes they said to me that they are a very good Muslim. I said, I was also a very good Muslim. They said, you know, I know why I believe, and I know that I studied. I said, you know, I also knew it. And I was quite sure that I'm going to happen. And I was so proud. By this, I can add that I took everything very seriously. I remember my mom and my dad was pushing me to go to mosque and learn everything very correctly. And at the age of 14, I was teaching others how to read the Quran and pray. And I was surrounded till 2007 with the people that they were all was planning to memorize the whole Quran. And I was a very good Muslim. And I respect Muslims so much today, and I love them so much. And I think I was a very good Muslim. And also today, I know Islam well. And I took everything very seriously. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's the reason why I ask is because, you know, I always see, especially online, and this even happens with atheists, but especially Muslims, as soon as you speak about an ex-Muslim or something, they will say it's a fake ex-Muslim, you know, it was really never really a Muslim. I see this all the time, and it even happens with when I interviewed some ex-atheist friends of mine. But yeah, so you were, you can easily say that you are a devout Muslim, and this is just something I want our viewers to keep in mind as you will later on unpack your testimony and your story. So yeah. I have a couple more questions left. So did you want to say anything to that?
No.
No. Okay. So we'll go to question number 3, and that was while you were a Muslim, what were you told about the Christian faith? Like, what did you know about Christianity while you were a Muslim?
Actually, what Christians teach, I didn't know a lot. And I knew the Messiah. I knew Jesus was one of the 4 prophets, like that all Muslims so far know about it. And what Christians teach, I didn't know much, but I heard enough that Christians are infidels, and that because they are doing like shirk, so they are just adding something to God, but God is one. And I had that kind of knowledge about Christians, so that's why yeah, I knew only this much until 2000, when I arrived in Norway.
Mm. Was it something that really bothered you about Islam and the Quran while you were a Muslim?
No,
No.
actually, there was nothing really bothering me, and I was so proud.
Mm.
And I was judging others and feeling so sad for them because I was on my way to heaven and they were on their way to hell.
Yeah.
But that kind of mindset, that kind of opinion is totally changed now.
Mm.
And but there was nothing really bothering me, and I was kind of very proud, and I was quite sure I will go to heaven.
Yeah.
By trying to be a very good Muslim and doing everything correctly. And I was judging people based on their beliefs, and I was putting myself in a judgment position.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you took the word of Allah in the Quran seriously and authoritative, and you judged the others through that and not the opposites.
Yeah, I think I can say that I was doing everything very correctly. And I was doing things that I learned from the imams, from the mullahs, from the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all the way I grew up, to be very careful and doing things correctly in the right time.
Yeah.
So that's why I think there was really nothing bother me, and there was nothing I didn't really like it. And I was just really doing things in a very serious way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Well, let's take the last question before I'll let you give you the floor. Now, my question at the end here is, how many Muslims have you shared the gospel with since you left Islam, and have you seen any of them become Christians?
I think this is a very good question. I really like to answer that, but I am also really, I honestly really not about to count, but I can say that I share my faith and the gospel in a person, literally more than 1,000. But I baptized more than 65 people.
God.
Yeah, I myself did.
That's amazing.
But I really don't like to use these numbers, but through our house church, and also like just meeting people on the streets and the parks, and just trying like those friends, I became friends in soccer, like playing soccer and all kinds of activities. But I can say it is like more than like thousands, like more than 1,000 people. I just talked with them in a person in the past 7 years. But also I shared the gospel through WhatsApp and through Messenger, even across the ocean in Australia, like all Europe, and back to Afghanistan, Iran, and even like in Indonesia and Pakistan, and I can just go on and on. But it's not like I just said like in a person, like just talk with him in the person, that is goes over like 1,000.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing.
Even people got baptized in other country that I was the one. I talked with them, and I took them step by step, get to the point, and then they decided to follow Jesus. So there are another subject.